off, Wade.
Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. If you guys are new here, welcome. My name is Braden Timmons, and today, guys, we are finally talking about Halloween H20, directed by Steve Miner, who previously directed one of my favorite Friday the 13th films, and that's Friday the 13th Part 2. And now he is directing one of the best installments in the Halloween franchise. And man, I really fucking love this movie, and if you guys have been following me for a while, you guys know that. But if you guys are new here, as always, consider clicking that subscribe button, especially if you guys like horror, that's slashers, monsters, pretty much anything within that realm. We talk a lot about that shit here on this channel, as it is a full-on horror channel. So if you guys love horror and you guys want to stick around, please consider clicking that subscribe button. This is my 7th review on this franchise. I've been having an absolute blast talking about Halloween every single week with you guys leading up to Halloween Ends, and we've got here about 5 more weeks left, and then we are going to be reviewing the final installment of the Halloween franchise for now, right? We know that eventually it's probably going to get rebooted or remade to some capacity, but for now, this is going to be the end. So, ignoring the Jamie Lloyd story arc of the previous 3 installments, Halloween H20 is a retcon of the franchise, acting as a direct sequel to the first 2 films. It follows a post-traumatic Laurie Strode who has faked her death in order to go into hiding from her brother, Michael Myers, who finds her working at a private boarding school in California. So this film actually did something other than Halloween 3. Obviously, this retconned Halloween 3, 4, 5, and 6. And this film did something, first of all, completely new. It opens in Langdon, Illinois, really ignoring Haddonfield completely. Haddonfield has no part in this movie, but that's okay. It honestly shows that you really don't need Haddonfield to make a good Halloween movie, because I will say, for the most part, this movie does have a very, very solid Halloween atmosphere. The movie also stars Jamie Lee Curtis, who is reprising her role once again as Laurie Strode, and as I said moments ago, that it follows a post-traumatic Laurie Strode. So she is trying to move on from the events that occurred in 1978, trying to move on with her life. She's changed her name, she has a job, she's had a kid, and obviously she's had a failed marriage, as we see later on in Halloween 2018. That's kind of the exact same route. However, the difference between this film and Halloween 2018, in my opinion, is that this film does it a lot better. I really do buy into Laurie Strode in this movie, and it's not to say that I don't buy into the Laurie Strode in Halloween 2018, which I will definitely talk more about when I get to that review, but I really buy into who she is as a person. She is someone that went through a lot as a teenager, you know. Michael Myers was continuously after her. She faked her death, changed her name, tries to move on, and in my opinion, she tries to move on in all of the best aspects. Like I said, she had a kid. She has John Tate, who she's really put a lot of stress on in his childhood. As we see in this movie, he's 17 years old and she still pretty much babies him. She won't let him go to Yosemite because she is scared that something might happen to him, especially because it's Halloween. And that causes a lot of baggage between them in their relationship. And I love that aspect of this movie. Really, everything story-wise in this movie is done very well, if you ask me. And that's one thing that is just very strong about this film. But before I talk any more about what I really like about this movie, let's get into some of my negatives with this film, because this film is not perfect. Very much like a lot of the other Halloween films after Halloween 1 and 2, there is a very, very big continuity issue here, and we need to talk about the fucking multiple changing masks that is currently going on throughout the course of this movie. In the very beginning of this film, we see the Halloween 6 mask. And then we see a different mask literally moments later once we see Michael Myers again. And they went through various reshoots and changed the looks of Michael Myers and even did a fucking CGI mask in one scene. It's absolutely insane. It's insanely noticeable. And I don't know why they did that. I don't know why they didn't just continue to use the Halloween 6 mask. I really actually like like the way that mask looks in the very beginning when he kills Nurse Marion Chambers, which honestly is a fantastic opening. Let's talk about the opening of this movie, which also has Joseph Gordon-Levitt in it. And to see some of the cast members in this movie, like him, we see Michelle Williams in this movie, and now they are both very, very big Hollywood names. I just think it's great to know that it's like, people like Paul Rudd and Joseph Gordon-Levitt and even Michelle Williams have made their way through horror before they got their really big break in Hollywood. So, great to see them here in this movie, and I gotta say that the opening is very, very strong in my opinion. I think that if they're going to bring Michael Myers back after all this time, this is a great way to do it. The opening also really pushes the story forward. It really does. And I also like a lot of the camera work. I was very much paying attention to Steve Miner's direction in this movie. Love his direction. I think that he is excellent behind the camera here, and he was definitely a solid choice to direct Halloween H20. While he wasn't the first choice, though, can you guess who the first choice of this movie was? John Carpenter. John Carpenter was actually eyed to direct this movie because of the way that the story was being set up. Jamie Lee Curtis was someone that really wanted to bring the original cast and crew back for this film, especially being that it was a direct sequel to Halloween 2. So she wanted to bring as many people as she could back. Now, this film, like many of the Halloween films, also went through a very, very exhausting production process. And what do I mean by that? Well, to start, the original screenwriter was actually supposed to be Daniel Farrands as the main screenwriter, but he decided to leave the franchise after going through and recognizing that he didn't want to see another one of his scripts turn into a complete disaster by the Weinsteins. It is also funny that he says that, being that some of the scripts that he has written and directed and produced since this film are The Haunting of Sharon Tate and The Murder of Nicole Brown Simpson. Yeah, I would honestly say that those scripts are major disasters if you ask me. But anyway, we're not talking about those films. We're talking about Halloween H20. So when it came down to it, Kevin Williamson, who was the writer of Scream, actually was also eyed to write one of the screenplays. But the script was written by Robert Zapaya and Matt Greenberg, and I really do think that both of their scripts, I thought that there was a lot of different concepts that was kind of floating around as to what Halloween 7 was going to be that eventually became Halloween H20. And they took pretty much a lot of these ideas from all of these various scripts that was going on and really embedded it into one script that, in my opinion, just works really well. Yes, it has continuity errors with the masks, and yes, it's not as violent, and really there's not a whole lot of Michael Myers in it, but in my opinion, that's okay, simply because the story of this movie very much works for me. It's got likable characters. It has a dynamic between Laurie Strode and her son, and you can see this dynamic and how it really affects both of them. You could still see how Laurie is affected all these years later and how she thinks that Michael Myers is still coming after her. And again, I just really, really like that dynamic. And yes, I know that Halloween 2018 went on to do it, and I know that Halloween 2018 has some fans, which again, yes, I will talk about when we get to that point. But I personally think that Halloween H20 does it better just because I like a lot of the camera work with Michael Myers. And yes, I know that they do show Michael's eyes, and yes, I wish that they would have actually made Michael look a little bit more beat up and burned, because I mean, the man survived a freaking fire at Haddonfield Memorial in 1978. You would think that his hands has like scars or that there's burn marks on him or something. And I wish that they would have taken the time and made Michael Myers a little bit scarier, because the mask is clean. He does look kind of small in certain scenes and everything, but for the most part, the way that he moves, he's very thorough. He is agile in this movie, and the way that Chris Durand, shout out to Chris Durand because I love your portrayal of Michael Myers, the way that you move as Michael Myers is absolutely fantastic. I think that he just looks efficient. He looks like he is, again, he looks very agile, and I like the camera work that is done with Michael Myers from a distance, or how he stalks and everything. They have all of the best elements of Michael Myers in this movie, but I wish that they they just made his look a little bit more scary. The movie also does have pretty good kills. It is definitely more violent than some of the other earlier installments of the franchise, but I do think that they did hold back on kills a little bit, which is funny because they had a production budget of $17 million, and I'm sure a lot of that went into the locations and everything. And while this movie is mostly shot on one location, they actually use the gate of Hillcrest Academy at a different location. They use the downtown area. This is just how production works, guys, is they have various locations that they have to book based on budget and everything, and that's how they end up shooting their movie. But for the most part, it is shot at the mansion that actually Scream 3 is later on filmed at in 1999, which is kind of funny. Actually, that's another thing I want to talk about that I don't like about this film is the fucking music. I love John Ottman's orchestral theme for this film. I really do think that it was a really, really solid update if they were going to change it. And it has since, when it came out, people didn't really know what to think of it. People didn't really like it. Hell, I even see some people nowadays say that they still don't really like it, but a lot more people actually do really like John Ottman's score now that it's been out for a while. It's had some time to kind of develop and really become appreciated amongst the Halloween community. I do like the original music that is in this movie. I don't like the fact that they decided to take the Scream soundtrack and use that in pretty much most of the chase scenes. And yes, while it works and while it seems intense, as a Halloween fan, I can tell that it's not Halloween. I can tell that it's something completely different. I can tell that it's from Scream, which is my second favorite horror franchise, and I just really wish that they would have actually composed a complete original score for this movie. And with those minute changes, with a creepier Michael Myers, with a complete original score, just with stuff like that, I do feel like that this would be the perfect Halloween sequel. It's with those minute little things that I feel like that it's not. And it's not perfect, but it is still a very, very good time. I absolutely fucking love Halloween H20. I just love the story. I love the characters. And if you guys haven't seen the Haddonfield Nightmare, a Halloween fan film yet, it's written and directed by myself. It came out on October 29th last year. It is actually a direct sequel to Halloween H20. I love this film, and what that film does and what it is a complete love letter, in my opinion, to what I think makes Halloween H20 so great. It tells the story of John Tate as an adult. It's my vision to John Tate's story 22 years later. So if you guys haven't had a chance to check it out, leave comments and let me know what you guys think. But yeah, guys, Halloween H20, man, for what they were able to do, this was the first time in the Halloween series that we got a retcon of story, meaning that they had retconned Halloween 3, 4, 5, and 6, and this picked up 20 years after the events of Halloween 2, which took place on the exact same night in 1978. And I do really appreciate this movie. I have loved this movie ever since I saw it. It's not one that I honestly don't ever see myself not loving. I think it's got some really, really damn effective kills. It's got some good thrills. It's got some great characters. And I gotta say, man, that Halloween H20, in my opinion, is an avid Halloween partier. I think that this is a great film to turn on during a Halloween party, watch it with some friends, and just have a really, really great time, have some drinks, and enjoy the hell out of it. So that's how I see Halloween H20. And with all that being said, post your guys' comments down below and let me know, what do you guys think of Halloween H20? Do you guys love it? Do you guys hate it? Do you guys kind of find it somewhere in the middle? And where would you rank it on your list of Halloween rankings? So leave comments in the comment section. I absolutely love to read them. And as always, if you guys like this, don't forget to join me on my journey to 10,000 subscribers, and I will see you guys in my next video.